What's cracking, people? It's your boy Weapon X coming at you live and direct, and I want to take the time out today to go ahead and discuss a topic that people have been discussing in circles in the hip-hop community for the past few days or so, and that is the Cannabis versus Dizaster battle that took place at KOTD. First of all, got to give my shout out to my man Diz out there. You know, he conducted himself in a manner befitting of an MC. He definitely came prepared, and he was expecting a battle, and you know, he came with the rhymes that definitely showed that he was preparing for somebody he considered a formidable opponent, and that in itself is respectful and honorable. And even though the battle didn't turn out the way he had hoped, I'm sure he'll find an opponent that will test his skills and push him to the limit real soon. Fortunately, this wasn't it, and I'll explain why. Now, Cannabis came to the battle, and it appeared from the very start of the battle that he wasn't quite ready. He didn't quite prepare for this, and he was spitting a couple lines here and there. He would pause at points, have some awkward long pauses as if he was trying to remember rhymes, try to play it off. Then he tried to play to the crowd using recycled lines from a lot of his songs, which, quite honestly, despite the fact that his supporters were there to cheer him on, and he had them in the palm of his hand for a minute, I mean, it's not a rap show, man. It's a battle, you know. Not coming there to spit recycled lyrics from second round knockout, you know, and it becomes quite clear that, you know, perhaps a lesser known MC whose fan base doesn't know their lyrics could pass doing that. But Cannabis, man, you've been doing this for a decade plus, and you know, people know those lines, so you know that's almost disrespectful to the battle heads out there that came to watch the battle, and your fan base who came to see you put on a show and bring the war to Diz. In any case, here comes the second round. Quits midway through the battle, admits defeat. Now, you know, it's understandable that an MC chokes. Diz is choked. People have stumbled on their verses. Even some of the people we consider great have lost in live battles. Royce the 5'9" has lost. Master Ace lost to the Boogeyman. Discussed it in his album, Disposable Arts, you know, using rhymes that he wrote on the way there. And no one ever thought any lesser of these MCs because they never, you know, preached really being battle MCs. They were definitely out of their element, and yet and still they went the distance. And people were able to look past that, and they were able to continue with their careers with a respectable reputation, and with people still admiring what they do in terms of the craft. Cannabis, on the other hand, quit midway through the battle, and then, in a way that I interpreted, and many people interpreted as disrespectful, after you apparently didn't prepare for a battle that was promoted for months, that you had months to prepare for, and you admitted you only spent 3 weeks, and then for you to pay the disrespect to your opponent, to not even think that he's worth the time to prepare for like that, when your opponent was probably preparing for 4 months, for you to come out there, for all the fans that were local and some that came from other different states to support you, for you to pay them that disrespect and not giving them what they came to see, the Ripper, defend his honor in battle, and then for you not to pay the self-respect to yourself as an MC, befitting of your legacy, despite its pitfalls. You know, it was disrespectful. The act was disrespectful on all levels. And then he's pulling out the notebook trying to tell people, look, Diz is a better MC than me. You know, I quit. He won. You know, I have this notebook here with all the rhymes I wrote. Let me spin them for you. You know, basically pleading to the crowd and trying to demand their attention. I mean, you've already disrespected these people. I mean, you should have put the time in to, you know, memorize these lines. Granted, you know, it's a written battle league, and, you know, you know, the verses are, you know, all premeditated, written, but memorization, you know, it takes time to memorize stuff, especially a lot of lines like the ones they're using at KOTD in those long, multi-stacked verses. And I mean, Diz put the time and effort and paid you the respect to do that, and for you not to do the same, that's, you know, that's disrespectful to the opponent, disrespectful to your fans, disrespectful to the craft, you know, for any MC who decides to do that. So yes, a lot of Cannabis fans were disappointed. A lot of Cannabis fans were definitely let down by the performance. Some were definitely shocked and you know, didn't know what to make of the performance. And now this whole notebook thing, as in the aftermath, has become a punchline, the butt of the joke, if you will. They have photoshopped pictures of the Cannabis Notebook Part 2. Video promos, the Cannabis Notebook Part 2. I mean, come on, man. I mean, you brought it on yourself. This, you know, some people who know Biss's reputation the way I'm familiar with it, they know that he'll probably come across this video. That's why I kind of make reference to it a little bit here or there as if I'm directly addressing him. I mean, if he's watching the video, man, I mean, you brought all this down to yourself, man. You've had fans that have followed you for over a decade plus, through your highs and your lows, through bad business decisions, you know, difficulty purchasing your stuff, the long stretch of time that you didn't come out and perform for your fans and people, and quite frankly, some of the lackluster material you put out, and your fans still stuck by you. And for you to treat them in this way, in an event that, quite frankly, you and Diz both could have benefited from, you know, there's your chance again, and you blew it, and, you know, a reaction's got a consequence, and now you've got to deal with all the stuff that's going on right now. And a lot of the aftermath, besides, you know, the notebook jokes, there's people on both sides of the coin here, you know. On one hand, you've got people that are totally disrespected, disgusted by the performance, and they're out there on internet forums and such posting things like, you know, they don't want to be a Cannabis fan anymore and all that, and you can't blame them because they followed them for all this time, and, you know, this is what they got in return. And it wasn't just this, it was a multiple array of different bad business decisions and lackluster material and, you know, other things that contribute to it, and this was just the icing on the cake. I mean, this ended up being the straw that broke the camel's back. You've got people saying they don't want to be fans anymore, and they can't respect the music, and who can blame them? Then you got the loyalists, and you got the fans that are still supporting them. You know, some of those are left too, and they're doing everything from coming up with conspiracy theories like Cannabis got his ass kicked before the battle, the contract got screwed up. I've heard everything, some of the most ridiculous stuff, like they poisoned his water at KOTD. I mean, some of this stuff is really amusing, man, and you can probably check this out for yourself on the net. It's good for a laugh or two. And then, to take it even further, you got the loyalists. They want to blame his manager now, M80. Now, M80, man, keep in mind, this is Cannabis' manager, and over the past few years, after Cannabis took a long hiatus where he was in the public or anything, and people were almost forgetting him, M80 came out and promoted a lot of his projects, made sure that they got the proper attention, and, you know, definitely booked a lot of shows, brought him back into a lot of his fan base's cities, so that his fans could watch him perform and stuff. You know, this, you know, created merchandise for him, accessible merchandise, and overall just helped his career from where it was. And then the fan base, who was talking very highly of him, M80 up until that point, you know, basically turned his back and turned him into a scapegoat. At the end of the day, man, M80 didn't put a gun to Biss's head, and he didn't make him do anything that Biss didn't want to do, you know. So, and if anything, Cannabis prospered more than he had in a while under M80's guidance. Then he had probably in any time of his career before Canibus. So, you know, I feel like that's wrong, but at the same time, you know, people will twist it any way they want to twist it. Finally, you've got these videos, or rather this video out there, and I gotta find this quite humorous. This guy's coming out there talking about the Dis versus Diz battle, and all of a sudden he breaks down in tears in regards to the battle, man. And it basically says something to the extent towards the end of the battle. It's basically a guy and his face is blacked out. You can't see it. And nobody would have known unless he had announced it. But he goes something to the extent of like, I'm in tears now, man. Some kid just destroyed my idol. Man, fuck this. And, you know, I never knew somebody could cry over something like this. Maybe a little depressed over, you know, the favorite MC, you know, not performing to their standards. But damn, man, that shit's just funny to me. I'm sorry. I don't mean to disrespect the guy behind that camera, but I mean, he put it out there himself. He could have stopped it before he broke down, but he put it out there, and he put it that YouTube video out as is. Didn't take it down nothing. It's still up if you want to view it. Nothing else to say. Just some crazy reactions up until this point in regards to this battle from both sides, and you know, everything's up for debate. But one thing's for sure, man. If you take anything away from this, it's don't put people on a pedestal, man. At the end of the day, you can look up to somebody, they can be your influence, but they're not gods, they're not idols, and the higher up you put them, you know, they're human beings too. The harder it is when they fall, because you just setting up, you know, as someone told me, you're definitely setting yourself up for disappointment when you do that. So, that's pretty much it. That's a wrap. I think we've discussed, you know, kind of the basics of the battle and its aftermath. This shit's open up to debate. I know there'll be haters out there that'll probably tell me to shut the hell up. People that agree with me, but most importantly, I hope that this will spark debate. And, you know, man, that's really it. This is your boy Weapon X. I'll be back at you with another video blog very, very soon on another worldwide controversial topic. But for now, this is Weapon X signing off. Enjoy your Monday evening. Peace.